Hi guys, I'm back. Today we're gonna have a fun kind of comical one. It's the what not to say to a birth mom. And of course I start talking to the dogs. They're like, "Ooh, what's she doing now?" So it's very funny for me because it's not like I've been a birth mom more than once. It's a one-time thing for me. But the funny thing I've gotten several different times is I'll be showing around pictures of my aunt and the baby, and it's comical because like I'm fine showing pictures and I'm fine talking about them, I'm fine talking about them, and I will have told the person, and then out of the clear blue they'll be like, "So how old is your son?" And I'm like, "Uh, he biologically, yeah, he's mine, but not in title." So something you might want to when dealing with someone who is in the position that I am, address the baby as they do. Generally, I say his name and or I say the baby or my aunt's baby. And then it's just one of those things where it's like, be cautious because I had someone and they had no idea that what it meant. They were like, "So are you going to take your son to the fair?" I was like, what? And they're like, "Yeah, it's a wonderful thing taking your child to like your baby to the fair. It's like a great new experience." And I'm sitting here thinking, they know this. I don't think they remember, but they know this. And it was one of those moments where it didn't hurt. It was just that awkward, like, he is my son, but he isn't my son. It's you have to put into the respect aspect of I birthed him, I carried him, I brought him to life, all that. But I am not the one that's raising him. Being a mother is a lot more than just giving birth to someone. It's the whole thing as a total. Like, I'm his birth mom because I gave birth to him. My aunt is his mother because she is there when he's sick. She is there through every single thing. She's there to wake him up, to bathe him, to feed him, all those things. And so it's one of those things where you don't get to be called a mother when all you did was give birth to the child. I mean, I am a birth mother, but I'm not his mother. It's two different things, and not that many people understand that. And that's why, like, I find it comical now because I've had time to just kind of like ease into it and not just like get all tense when people say something. But not everyone is going to be that sensitive, and it's not as extreme as a miscarriage, but it is that same heartbreak. And I can relate a lot more now to people who have had miscarriages, who cannot have kids, and all those things just because I saw him, I held him, and then I let him go. And it wasn't because I didn't want him. And it wasn't because I didn't love him enough. It was I loved him so much that I gave this gift. And a lot of people don't understand that, like, it's over and done with now, so if you're trying to tell me your opinions, like, when someone has already done this, don't share your opinions on their choice. Like, you can share your overall opinions on the topic, but when it comes to their particular child, don't do it. It's one of those things where it's like, just shush. It's already done. Paper's already done. I don't want to hear it anymore. Just shush. And I think as of late, like, it's getting easier and I can talk about him more, and it's easier as time. Being a birth mom is one of those things where I am so proud of him. Like, oh my gosh, I am so proud of him and so happy for my aunt and uncle. And it's one of those things where it's like, wow, I did this. And you can see the traits in him. Like, you can see different aspects of me and my husband in the child. And it's really cool because you can also see aspects of my grandfather in the child who is not actually blood related to me because I was adopted. So that's like the whole crazy aspect of it is the baby is showing so much trait towards my grandfather and towards my uncle and different things. And it's kind of like, he's not even blood related to that side. What? And so that's something to keep in mind when you're talking to a birth mom is be cautious with how you word things and be cautious with the fact that it may not be even in the same state that the adoption happened. I mean, mine was in Oklahoma and then they went back to Indiana. And it's just one of those things where I see him constantly through pictures and through videos and I hear updates, but asking me constantly if I get to see the baby in person and different things, it's like, it would be wonderful, but it also would be a hardship also because it's a reminder in person of what I did. And as much happiness and joy that brings me, it still brings that staggering pain of losing something I really wanted. And it's hard to explain that to people because like they're like, well, if it hurts so much, then why'd you do it? Well, that's the problem with this is I broke my own heart in doing this, but that doesn't mean that I regret it. I don't regret the pain that I have gone through. I don't regret the pain of it each day getting easier and easier. I have never felt regret over it. That's the difference is I'm okay living with the day-to-day pain of remembering and wanting and dealing with my choice. But it's never been regret, and those are two different things. You can still feel the pain, but I don't feel regret over it. And that's why it's worth it to me. I loved him enough to feel this pain. And especially as Christians, you can kind of understand that with the whole Christ-like love. Like, he literally died on the cross for us to be saved. I'm not comparing it to dying, but when you break your heart to be able to give your child the best life that they can have, it's worth it. And it's a blessing in disguise. It was so difficult at the time, and for a while it was hard for me to talk about him. And then it just clicked one day, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I have such a gorgeous child. And he is raised by two amazing parents. And at that point, I was like, I don't want to keep this quiet. Like, I want to continue this amazing story. And that's the thing is a lot of people don't realize, like, I don't mind talking about him. Just don't say my son. Because that just is a reminder to me. Now, if it slips up, I don't really care. Because it happens. Like, there's times where it still slips up for me, and I'm like, oh, wait, word change. We need not get that into a habit. And it's one of those things that's so cool because, I mean, you get to do something that not only blesses the people who are adopting and blesses the baby, but it also blesses you in its own way. It was probably one of the toughest things that me and my husband ever did, but it made us closer than we ever were. And that's the thing is we didn't get married until after I'd had the baby. And to me, it's almost like it made our marriage so much stronger because we can have fights and we can have these day-to-day little misunderstandings, but there's literally nothing that we cannot put our minds to and do. Because we literally broke our hearts and did this big thing before we were even committed to each other. And that's that's the thing that's kind of interesting about it all, and it's one of those things I love immensely about him, that we've been able to get through this. I guess my little tidbit most of all is when you're talking to a birth mom, show respect in the fact that she did something that is very difficult, and it's not an easy choice, and she stood strong. Even if you don't agree to it, you have to be able to show some respect for it, because if you don't, then generally you'll get cut out, because it just, going through that much, you really don't have the time to deal with someone who starts trying to harp on you about something that's already done. So, I mean, show kindness, show respect, and most of all, if it slips up, just laugh it off and say sorry, because, I mean, it happens to every one of us once in a while. I'll probably be doing a couple more videos on that whole adoption topic and whatnot. But I will wrap this one up. I hope that everyone is having a wonderful beginning of spring and enjoying this beautiful weather. I sure am. And I hope that this can reach people that are in need. I hope everyone has a good day. Bye.